Welcome to the Four Brewers Podcast. My name is John Holzer, and as always, I am joined by
Jason Harris
and Greg Nagel.
And today on the show, I don't know, we're doing a bit of like a memorial episode, I guess you could say. One of the heavy hitters in the beer industry is passing away, or has passed away, or is slowly dying, is dead. I don't know how you want to describe it. We're doing a show dedicated to our friends who aren't really our friends at the Shelton Brothers.
I was like, do we know them?
No, we don't. If you don't know who they are, they're a big time beer distributor, mainly European imports. They've been around since, I think, 93. And they recently announced that they're going out of business, mainly due to financial issues and the knife in the belly COVID.
I think the bank foreclosed them, basically. Like, they're like, we can still run. And the bank got tired of their waiting and just seized their assets.
Pretty much.
Yeah, there's a really good article on Good Beer Hunting all about what happened, with quotes from everybody. It's a really good read. Just check it out. Just search Shelton Brothers on Google. You'll find it.
Before we dive into the beers, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our latest supporters on Patreon, Bobo Waka. That's their name that they chose to use in Patreon. So
Bobo Loca?
Bobo Waka, Bobowaka. So
there's a Bobo Loca place in my neighborhood. They have like milk teas with boba.
God damn it!
That sounds nice. Wonderful.
It's delicious. Yeah, you should try it.
So yeah, shout out to Bobo Waka for the support, and if you'd also like to support the show and get some cool perks in the process, like the 4B glassware that we give away every year for free, which we have yet to design this year because motivation is just lacking and we haven't done it yet, but hopefully we'll get it out. We have 2 months left. You can go to supporttheshitoutofit.com and you can give us your money. So yeah, let's dive in. We have a plethora of beers. The Shelton Brothers, man, their catalog was deep. Like, I want to say 100 different breweries or something like that. I didn't count. Jason found a list on the Wayback Machine, because if you go to their website now, they don't list anything, which isn't helpful.
Yeah, you go to they have a section for it, and it's just like, they just deleted that page. Like, they did the most lazy webmaster way of just being like, just delete that page and it'll kick up a not displayed. Fuck it.
They just have a little guy with a shovel.
Business, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. It's gone. Who cares?
But yeah, pretty much like a lot of your more renowned European imports, not your big imports, but like your brands that really, like Cantillon being a great example. You know,
there's some darlings in there for sure.
Yeah, Cantillon was, I think, their first account. That's what kind of inspired them to get into the beer distribution business. If you go over to beeradvocate.com, Andy Crouch in April of 2017, he wrote a really, really in-depth history about the Shelton Brothers and how they got into distributing beer. And it's really long. I kind of picked through it and browsed over it, and it's pretty interesting. I mean, if you think about distributing beer, it's not something you just get into. It's somewhat difficult. Like, you have to know people, you have to, have connections and know how to move beer all over the world. And
logistically, their job is just insane. I mean, some of these breweries that they have they're not huge breweries. They're like little tiny microbreweries in our backyard. Like, I mean, Cantillon's not a huge brewery by any stretch of the means, as an example.
Yeah.
But you know, to get a pallet of beer and put it in their warehouse, ship it across in a container, hopefully refrigerated, and then I don't know who's buying them. You know, for each state, they probably have to have a license for each state to distribute.
Yep.
You know, not an easy job.
Yeah, the limited information that's still on their website, they talk about how they pick their breweries, and one of the criteria, not that it's a steadfast rule, but they like to stick with breweries that are making less than 5,000 hectoliters per year of beer, which I don't know what that equates to in barrels in American measurements, but basically they follow like the craft beer rules for selecting their breweries. Like they list brewed in small batches using traditional methods. That's one of the most common things you see. I mean, that was almost lifted out of the Brewers Association definition of a craft brewery, right? Unsweetened, unpasteurized, unfiltered / bottle conditioned, little to no use of spices or adjuncts, slow fermented, distinctive house yeast or yeasts, and dry as opposed to sweet. And again, these aren't like strict rules. I mean, nowadays people are putting everything in beer, but they want to stick to more traditional stuff, or they wanted to stick to more traditional stuff back then, more low key, like true beer stuff.
That's about 2,500, a little bit under 2,500 barrels of beer.
Okay. That's a pretty medium size brewery. Yeah. That's worthy.
And then we were at the festival when they were out here in San Pedro. I think it was 2 years ago, and got a swathing of some of their more I think darling breweries that made it out for the fest. Like people from Germany, a lot of people from Belgium.
Yeah.
There was Hansen there. I met the Hansen brothers. Like that was. I think that was, they made a beer. Yeah, the Hop.
Hop, that's what it's called. Yeah.
Hop. And that was interesting experience. And God, what a huge loss to the beer world.
What, the Hansen Brewery?
Yeah, the Hansen brothers.
Just that brewery existing. What a huge loss to the beer world.
Oh man.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure
story,
these other breweries over time will find other means of getting their beers to the United States, but yeah, it's definitely a big loss. It's a pain. I mean, not only did they distribute European breweries, they distributed American breweries. Like Prairie was one of them, and Prairie left right before they shut down, and I think that was one of the big blows to them when Prairie left. Mikkeller was another one. I don't know if Mikkeller SD. I think Mikkeller SD is going through Stone, but I think Mikkeller from Europe was going through Shelton Brothers, and they pulled out as well. I think recently too.
Yeah, in that article they list they weren't like the Mikkeller or whatever wasn't pissed at them. They just outgrew the business, and them being in San Diego just made more sense for them to distribute and brew their own product without the middleman.
They also, it did seem like it got pretty contentious though, because Mikkeller left them with like millions of dollars of fucking old shelf turds that didn't sell.
It did say that it did say Mikkeller rebought a lot of the warehouse beers that they had, but obviously not for profit. After
like a 2-year fight though, they listed that particular incident as one of the big things that put their finances in strain. Which, you know,
business sucks, man.
Mikkel's like, and then I started distributing, and I was the best distributor in the world.
And then I got tired of these running shoes, so I made my own running shoe company.
It's the best shoe in the world.
I wouldn't put it past them. So yeah, all the beers we're drinking are distributed by Shelton Brothers. We did the best we could. I'm pretty sure we all referenced that list that Jason sent. I think Greg already bought his, but I definitely referenced it. I went to Gerard's, and where they have a lot of Euro stuff. And at first it was a little difficult finding their beers, but then I realized they just basically lumped all of Shelton Brothers imports into one spot. And so it made it easy. And there was stuff ranging from $30 a bottle to $5 a bottle. So I think the most I spent was $14 for a bottle of beer.
They had a $279 Magnum of Cantillon at El Cerrito, but I did not get that.
My most expensive was $23 for one bottle of beer.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
kick it off.
mine are getting up there. Mine are all in the teens.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
but you
kick
got
it
some
off.
bangers though.
I'm going to kick it off with my first beer. I'm drinking, and this could be a massive mistake. This is single hop IPA made with Galaxy hops from Bridge Road Brewers.
Oh,
And I don't know any history on Bridge Road. I think they're nope, they're from Australia. I guess I could read the bottle and find that out. And yeah, there's a faint marking on here for a bottled on date, and I can't read it. Oh, does that say? No, it's probably in European. So 2018.
yeah, with a single hop.
Ooh.
That one hop was like fighting off all the oxidation in the bottle. It's a scrappy little hop.
This is true to what IPA is. It made the long trip on the boat, and the hops were there for beer
You guys,
preservation.
do I start with the known quantity beer or do I finish with the known quantity beer?
What does that mean?
So one of the beers
go
I
on,
got
Sprout.
is Dre Fontaine and Ode Goose. I know this beer. I know this beer is going to be good.
That's a stellar beer.
Yeah, let's save it to the end. Who knows? I might get the fan. I may get the tome. Let's gamble right now.
I
God
walked into.
God damn it! I'm gonna go into the kitchen because I need a fucking corkscrew.
need a fucking
There's
cork?
a cork under the cap. Yeah,
I always have my
I'll be
cork
back.
with me. You never know what you're gonna get. But I walked into a Windsor Homebrew Supply. I'm like, "Hey guys, I'm on a podcast and we're doing a Shelton Brothers show." And they're like, "Oh, it's all right here. Bing, 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 bing."
Nice.
Everything's all like ducks in a row. Just picked out my whatever I was gonna drink.
That makes it
sounded
easy.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
So, Greg, what are you opening?
I started with a Jambe de Bois from De La Seine in Brussels.
Nice.
And it's got some floaty chunkies in the bottom, which is sort of odd.
Yeah, well,
Can't really
neat.
see it. Yeah, you can. It looks like a hef on the bottom, but yeah, definitely don't want that last pour of this. I've never had this beer before. Have you?
Neither
It's
have
supposedly
I.
highly rated.
You got 2 beers from De La Seine, so
Yeah, one's a
Yeah.
collab with what are those dudes up in Oregon?
an
If I
Oregon
can only
brewery.
read. Yeah, they're up by the Tillamook Cheese Factory thing. God, why can't I read this? It's so dark and bright in my room that it's like,
We'll get back to it.
yeah, for
So
sure.
this beer, how do you say this again? I cannot say that. You said it so well.
Frambe de Bois. It's the
Hambe de Bois.
Hambe.
It's
Yeah,
got
it's
It
Hambe.
starts with a
Hambe de
J.
Bois.
You say Hambe or Jambe? I don't know.
Hambe.
This is a
I would say.
Belgian triple.
Jambe de Bois. I would say Jambe.
Jambe. Okay.
It's a
8%
Belgian
alcohol
triple,
by volume. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
and it doesn't taste anything like a Belgian triple.
Really?
Yeah, it's a little medicinal. It's really bitter, which I wouldn't.
On
Put
Untapped,
any
it says
Belgian
it's
triple.
49 IBU. So
Yeah, it's really aggressively hopped. It's got some barnyardy hops on the nose, sort of like Orval, sort of how their hops develop in the bottle
okay.
and change over time.
Yeah.
It's got like a chewable vitamin sort of vibe to it as well.
That doesn't sound nice.
A little bitter orange peel. Well, it smells European. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
when you're drinking a European beer,
Exactly.
like it smells like Europe. It smells like an old dude smoking cigarettes on the side of a road, and there's like he's gonna take off on his moped. to
Yeah,
God knows
my
where.
beer, this single hop IPA, I'm sure when it was fresh, it was good, but it's definitely on the malty side now. It's not really oxidized too much, and I don't get any diacetyl, so that's a good thing for it being so old. And I will say every single beer I picked up had dust on the bottle, which
Same.
is awesome.
But at Windsor, to be fair, like everything's sort of covered in grain dust because they mill all the
That's
grains.
true. Yeah. It's a different kind of dust. And yeah, I mean, it comes off pretty balanced and with the bitterness and the malt profile. Definitely kind of more caramel forward on the malt. You can tell they added some sea hops in there. And but yeah, the nose is just completely shot. It's like, yeah, well, okay, that's where the oxidation does show.
Is it drinkable at least? Like,
It's
is it total
drinkable,
waste?
yeah. No, it's
Okay.
it's not like, as when I said it's not oxidized, I meant as far as how it feels in your mouth. Like it doesn't taste like you're drinking cardboard, but you can definitely smell that it's oxidized. It's a tasty beer. It's definitely more old world style, like 10 years ago. Not old world. Makes it sound like it's 100 years old. Like a single hop IPA from 10 years ago, where they,
like my grandfather made in the old country.
it's got some a bit of a heavier malt profile than I prefer, but you can tell it was probably a pretty tasty beer when it was fresh. So, and this is Greg jokingly said what you said, Shelfton turds,
shell turds,
shell turds, and referencing shelf turds. And a lot of time, with the modern craft beer scene being the way it is, we have so much to choose from. And I think that's also part of why the Shelton brothers. Yeah, I mean, who's gonna buy that stuff? Like, it's in '93 when craft beer wasn't as hot as it is now. Yeah, they definitely had a market for those beers, but now they're just drowning in local craft beer.
We've talked about it before. Imports are just getting pushed off the shelf everywhere. So,
yeah, I think the article listed that they do a really good business with on-premise sales, like restaurants and stuff, and that's why I think they said that they went down to like 15% of their normal income from like February to March.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, there are a lot of restaurants that carry Shelton Brothers beers for whatever reason, whether they be like Belgian style restaurants or French restaurants. They usually have some sort of saison, or
their beer does seem like fancy. Like if I run a nicer place, you can kind of just put a bunch of Shelton beers on your menu and it looks like you've got a pretty, like a well curated beer list, right?
Yeah. And any nice beer geek that's going to come in there is going to be, I would be pleased to have some sort of weird saison at a fancy restaurant. Like, I don't have to fuck with a wine or something like that, or for a cocktail.
Yeah, and when we're talking about shelf turds, like, we're not saying the beers are turds. It's just that they turn into turds because they sit on the shelf for so long. And that
total wine and water.
Yeah, for some styles that could be okay, and for most other styles, it's not okay. You want to drink it fairly fresh, and so they turn into like a crappy beer because they're just old. And yeah, so Jason, you got your bottle open, you got the cork out.
I did. It didn't explode, which is a pretty good thing for me. I'm taking my life in my hands. I have a Phantom beer. It did not explode. It doesn't smell bad. It does smell a little skunky. It's in a green bottle.
Has to be expected.
It's called Magic Ghost. It's got the funniest clip art magician on the fucking label.
Jesus, that's a peak Phantom right there.
Yeah, it just looks like they took like Microsoft Word from 1997 and we're like, yeah, this is what we use to make our labels. Done. We don't need to update it.
It looks like one of those bottles where the head is going to creep out of the bottle in like 5 minutes. Just
it is kind of slowly but surely just rising. But it's got a pretty traditional saison nose. It did have some skunkiness that is kind of blown off a bit.
Is the beer green? It looks green on my screen.
It looks kind of green, man. I know there's green lights in here, but the beer itself is also getting a green. No, candling it to my light over here, it's yellow, but it really seems to be reflecting the green more than any beer that I've ever had.
Yeah, it kind of looks like swamp water.
Did you get the fan or did you get the tome?
Oh, tome. It's like it's like ashy.
Oh no. I hate. Oh god, that's a yeast thing too.
That's when Brett goes bad.
Yeah,
it's like
when Brett goes bad.
Yeah, it's kind of ashy and a little bit barbecue chip.
Oh. No.
There's like elements of a good saison there, but fuck, I got the tome. God damn it. I was really hoping it was going to be a good one.
No, I mean, we did the Saison Showdown, and I think we had a Phantom stuck in there, and I think it was a good one.
Yeah, I remember it doing pretty well, but...
we're like, yeah, when they hit. When they're bad, there's oof.
Yeah, this one is fucking gnar. And whatever is in there that's making it ashy is making it reflect only green light as well. So, not a big fan of that one. Could have done without that.
Not a phantom of that one.
Hey-o.
So
All right,
great.
I'm gonna open this Mystic beer then.
Yo, man.
How's your beer going, dude?
It's going good. I just poured another little bit, which it's got nice frothy head to it. Still, there's little floaties that are coming out of the bottle, which is kind of they don't bother me that much because it's not like detracting from the overall beer flavor aroma. It's warming up. This is probably the most bitter beer I've had in 4 months because I still haven't had an IPA in 4 months.
Oh, really?
But yeah,
That's interesting.
I don't know which one I'm going to have when I do.
So I'm moving on because my beer is kind of an oxidized mess, and yeah, it shouldn't be on shelves. Like, it's an IPA, take it off the shelf. I'm moving on to a beer called Wayne's World. This is from Jopen, Jopen or Jopen. I have never heard of this brewery. This is also a new brewery. It looks like they're from the Netherlands, and this is a collaboration beer. This is oh my god, this is from 2016. Okay. 6.5% alcohol by volume, and yeah, it's a U.S. blonde ale made with juniper, grapefruit, and aged on cedar wood. So when I read that, I was like, well, the bottled on date probably won't matter because it's got all this other stuff going on, and it should be fine. So, like I said, this is a collab beer. This is a collab with Cigar City Brewing out of Florida. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to try this and see how this 4-year-old beer held up.
I was excited to try this, and I can't get the cork to move even a little. I gave it a real good tug, and I felt like I was going to rip the cork before it actually moved.
Can you use your cork bottle opener thing? Like
that's what I was using. Yeah. I used the corkscrew, and I was yanking on it, and you know what? Let's just try this one that's got a cap. I'll be back to that one in a little bit.
You got to be a cicerone to open up half your bottles.
No shit. So this is Beer de Mars from Jolly Pumpkin, just kind of a very classic style.
A while since we've had Jolly Pumpkin on the show.
Or a Beer de Mars.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've had Jolly Pumpkin, period.
Been a while.
It's kind of where...
I think they moved on to like making IPA and stuff and even canning. But yeah, I haven't even... am I tuning them out? I don't think I've even seen them on shelves.
I think they're one of those ones that is kind of fallen off a little bit. Like if you're in California, you have a lot more options, so you see a lot less of Jolly Pumpkin because they have a lot more to put on the shelf.
Yeah.
This Beer de Mars is if you told me it was like Fat Tire based on the color, it looks kind of like a Fat Tire that's a little bit darker. Oh, it's got like a nice little tartness on the nose, but almost like a baby consecration.
Okay.
Just a little bit of that acid on the nose with like kind of dark red fruit in the background. It smells really, really appetizing.
Yeah, this beer that I opened up from Jopen. I hope I'm saying that right. Jopen sounds right.
Janice Jopen.
So far, the nose smells really good. Like, you get that slight cedar character with a little bit of like I thought the juniper would stand out a lot on the nose, but it's not. And the character I'm getting from all three of these, ingredients interacting, the juniper and the grapefruit, it comes off like kind of a cherry aroma. Not too juniper forward or grapefruit forward, but somehow juniper and grapefruit made like a light cherry nose on it. It smells really good. Like, it smells pretty appetizing for being a 4-year-old blonde ale.
So this beer is, I just checked, it was bottled in 2014.
Nice.
No oxidation on this beer at all.
Nice.
I don't know if it was sour when it was bottled, because they don't describe it as a sour ale. They describe it as a farmhouse ale aged in oak, French style stock ale aged in oak. But it definitely has taken on. It's taken on a really pleasant acidity though. Like it's got like a sourness to it that's actually really good, and this is a really solid beer, and shockingly not at all oxidized for being as old as it is.
I remember I went to Jolly Pumpkin. I was in Ann Arbor, Michigan, visiting family and stuff, and just there having burgers and fries and stuff like that. And I ordered a beer, and they're like, "This is a sour beer. Are you okay with that?" I was like, "Yeah." Apparently, a lot of people stumble in off the street just saying, they see the word brewery, and they're like, "What the hell is this?" And yeah,
it's a sensible question to ask, because if you don't know anything about beer and you're like, I don't know what to drink, give me the blonde, and you kind of maybe know what a blonde tastes like in your head, and then you get it and it's got this acidic character to it, it might throw you off. I
totally.
Get it.
Speaking of blonde, I opened up a blonde, which I've never had. This is Trappist Ackle.
Akel, yeah.
Trappist Ackle.
That's one of my favorite Trappist breweries, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really? Huh.
Yep. I like that beer a lot.
It's got the Shelton Brothers logo on the back. This is the 8% blonde, which I've never had before. Excited to try it.
Nice.
Of course, big and frothy. Wow, the nose sort of reminds me of Weinstefaner's Vitas. It's got like a slight sort of banana clove thing happening.
Mm-hmm.
More soft, really soft, like desserty banana cream pie. That smells great.
Yeah, that does sound good. Going back to my beer, the beer from Joppen, first sip tasted like a cigar box. Like it tasted like a cedar kind of cigar. What are those called? Humidor. Yeah. I mean, and I think, and I say this in a good way, I didn't expect to get that much cedar off of it. And typically when I think of wood-aged beers on cedar, maybe it's just something that I got stuck in my brain somehow, but I feel like cedar wood tends to make a beer come off more like oxidized on the flavor.
Totally.
But it's not.
Brewery had
like
one
that.
a long time ago. What was it? It was a milk stout aged with cedar chips or something like that.
Jesus Christ, no. Oh, that just sounds weird.
It was a weird one. I got a growler over once. I was like, guess I'm drinking it.
Was it free?
No, I don't know. I don't remember. It was a long
Burley
time ago.
Gourd, apparently. Milk
Yeah,
stout,
Burley Gourd.
Pumpkin milk stout on cedar.
We called it Burley Gourd.
Burley Gourd.
But wow. Okay, so Akel here. For 8%, it doesn't taste like 8% at all. It probably tastes like a 5%. But then as you swallow, you feel yourself warming up a little bit as it opens up on your palate. It has this really nice sweetness that comes off dry as it lifts off your palate. It's really delicious and really super good sort of creamy carbonation on it.
That's kind of a good get for Shelton Brothers, a Trappist brewery. I don't know how many Trappist breweries they import, but I don't think it's a lot. Because the first place I went to at Gerard's was like the big boy Belgian beer section, and I'm looking at the list. I'm like, they don't distribute any of these or import any of these. And okay. And when I got home, I was adding the beers to our document, and I saw that you got a Kel, and I'm like, I don't think they import a Kel, and they do. I was surprised. So that's
their logo's on the back.
This beer is fantastic for it being 4 years old, and a blonde ale with all this, with juniper, cedar, and grapefruit.
Hoopla.
From Joppen. It's really good. Like, it comes off nice and soft and silky, and the fruit character, once you get past that initial cedar bomb on your tongue, it's just a nice, soft, easy drinking beer. And it, for a blonde ale, it held up very well for being 4 years. It's 6.5%. So I mean, it's a higher ABV than most, I think, blonde ales in the States would be. I think blondes are typically around 4.5 or 5, something like that.
Was your beer refrigerated or not?
I think it's been in the refrigerator the entire time. They have two cold boxes at Gerard's. One's all Euro beer and imports, and the other one is all craft and stuff. The craft one's much larger, but everything they have there is kept cold. I don't think they have any warm beer at Gerard's. I think it's all refrigerated. And they have also an outdoor refrigerator setup, kind of like you'd see like at a grocery store where it's open air, but it's still cold. And you can get singles from there too. So everything they have is refrigerated as far as I know. So
cool. Yeah. Windsor, I would assume that his bottles are pretty fresh because he has a pretty good relationship with the Shelton Bros. But everything was sort of on the not refrigerated, sort of by the cash register. But,
was Scott there when you picked these up?
Yep. Yeah.
Did you talk to him about this whole like Shelton Brothers?
Yeah, he said it's kind of a bummer, but he would expect to find somebody by the warehouse and stuff and continue to distribute. I would assume that somebody's going to pick up the ball and run with it.
Yeah,
it seems like a gold mine of just, even if you're buying them wholesale and just selling them even at a discount to get rid of that stock. Like, I think the consumer's going to win.
Yeah, that's a good
these
point.
These beers hold up, so I don't see anything wrong with buying a 2-year-old Trappist beer that's 8%. Like, it's going to hold up. It's going to be delicious.
Yeah, if I see a Trappist beer on the shelf and it's 2 years old or even older, I'm not going to blink an eye. Like, I'll buy it. I don't care. Trappist beers tend to hold up very well over time, especially if they're kept refrigerated. Like, it's a no-brainer. I would totally buy it.
Yeah, this is insanely good. I'm going to go back and probably buy some more. Well, did you get your beer open, sir?
Well, we're trying.
What the hell
is that thing? He's got this tube that just...
Is that a drill?
Oh my God, what the fuck? Hey!
I did it!
Okay, what was that?
That's amazing. Can I get one of those? Give it a shout out on the podcast because that worked great.
It's an electric wine bottle opener.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, my mom got it for me for Christmas like years ago. I use it for wine all the time. It's got like a little spinny bit on the inside, and there you go.
Huh.
Yeah,
and then you
don't
just
put that on your wiener.
Oh, it looks weird.
It does not like it does not like these big corks, which is why I don't usually use it on beer because it kind of breaks it.
Desperate times though.
It was not coming out. So this beer has got to be at least a year old because this brewery went permanently out of business in 2019. So this is a Mystic Brewery from Massachusetts. And if you remember them going out of business, they didn't like go under. They were just like over it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were like, we're not out of money. The brewery's doing fine. We're just done. And they just quit. So,
okay.
But so let's see. Does this have a date on it? It's batch number 3. So I bet I can look that up. Well, maybe if they keep paid their web hosting bill. Yeah, it is 16 IBU, 4.3% alcohol. Simple table beer. It is very clear. Super, super brilliant. I'm wondering if it was like that at first or if it's just been in the bottle upright so long that it's just kind of all settled out.
Yeah, we've had Mystic on the show before, back in 2018 on episode 224. We had a beer called Field Studies, which is let's see, it's a saison with dandelion and elderflower. And I think I want to say we've had them another. No,
was that the brewery that like it was like they listened to the show and there was an awkward tweet or something like that?
No, that was Propolis.
That's right.
Propolis. Oh, that lady sent me a really. She sent it was to Full Pint, and it was like, you guys don't know anything about beer. Clearly, my beer is actually really good. And fuck Propolis.
Bee wax or something in it. Like, it was really weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they were an apiary, like a bee farm,
which is
kind
cool.
of thing. But yeah, I never bought their beer after that show. Like, and I think they're still in business. You can still get their stuff at like Gerard's. I see it all the time. But nope, not going to buy their beer because fuck them.
Because we don't know what we're talking about.
I sent that lady a very professional reply. I put my work hat on. I was very nice and professional and tried to be fair and ghosted. I was like, fine, fuck you then, lady.
Yeah.
This beer is oxidized to hell. So
That's a bummer.
it's a table beer, so it would have been kind of a simple beer anyways. But oxidation has just beat the shit out of it. So
Man, that's such a bummer.
yeah.
That's the thing. You see the word Shelton Brothers on it, and it's like, do I want to throw away my money? Potentially.
Sheltards is kind of a real thing, right? And that's probably part of why they're struggling, right? Like these beers have been sitting at really good stores that curate really well for months, years.
It's not their fault that the beers are going bad. It's just that, well, they're not going bad. It's not their fault that they're sitting for so long, and it doesn't mean they shouldn't import those beers. It's just like, again, the market's not there, so they're gonna sit, and there's nothing they can do about it,
And there's no
I guess
marketing
they could buy it back, but
there's no marketing behind it. Like you don't see like Shelton Brothers Instagram blown up with, hey, here's this latest blonde ale from blah blah blah, or like there's no social platform, or like you don't hear about these beers unless you stumble upon them in a store. Roll the dice. Hopefully, it's not a oxidized mess.
There's not like a Super Bowl commercial with a monk.
No,
like when I think of craft beer,
I mean, even in like beer publications or like Beer Paper LA, you're flipping through, you don't see any Shelton ads or
it seems like
beer you guys should check out.
It seems like they just kind of depended on, I don't know, maybe they, I don't want to say they got lazy or didn't know how to adapt to using social media to their advantage, but it just seems like they missed the boat on the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they had an Instagram thing, but I never thought to follow it. Like, why would I think Shelton Brothers have an Instagram account? But it makes sense that they would. Like, why? I mean, promote your beers, say where you can get them.
They do have a YouTube channel with some really good content on it. They're like, hey, let's go check out this brewery in Scotland, and it's really good interviews and like a brewery tour and stuff like that. It's really in depth. So if you do want to check out some of their stuff on YouTube, I think it's still up, obviously. But I just opened up another beer I've never tried called KO from Proof Breweridge. I don't know how you say that. Brewery. DeProof?
Yeah, DeProof.
Is that right?
I feel like
Knockout,
Shelton is the leading distributor of breweries that spell brewery with a J.
Browridge.
Yes, definitely.
Except for Browridge West.
Actually, they are on there.
They do.
Is it really?
West. Yeah.
They are one
no
of
kidding.
Yeah. I was just gonna buy some Brewery West and cop out the whole show, but
yeah,
that's fine.
I was gonna buy
honestly, we should have.
I was gonna buy their seltzer actually because Gerard's had the seltzer.
Oh, nice.
Oh no shit.
Like that wouldn't fit in with the old shelf turds. So,
well, I was warned about this KO. That was they're like, yeah, just so you know, that one's really hot. And I guess it's sort of like a Belgian triple. I'm not sure of the ABV of it.
10%.
But it smells. Oh yeah, it smells 10%. Like you can smell sort of boozy, and it smells similar to the Akel, where it's got sort of like the banana, like the banana cream pie thing going on the nose. But it smells really sweet. Smells very hot. It does smell good. I'll give it that. It smells sweet. I think there's a little oxidation in there.
Was there a date on that bottle?
Just a tinge. Not that I could see. I mean, the writing on these are it's like 3 or 4 point font. Like I need to bust out my phone, and
it's like reading hieroglyphics sometimes.
I don't. At that point, it's like you're trying to hide something from me. So I'm not gonna try.
We're legally required to put a date, but we do not want to tell you when we've made it.
Dude, for $5 and a 10% beer, this is pretty damn good.
None of my beers were $5, so
yeah, this was the cheapest in the bunch. If you really want to get a buzz, like woo.
My cheapest was $10.99, although 3 of these are $7.50s. So,
well, that's not bad then. Yeah, these are like the 11.2 500 milliliter bottle.
So I'm moving on to something different. This is from Freigeist. This is actually a gruit, which I don't think I've ever purchased a gruit and consumed a gruit in my home. I think the only place I've ever had a gruit is at the brewery. They made one, 10 years ago, like when Tyler was still there, and it was called Grew It. Ah, man, it was a good name too. I forgot the name of the beer. Anyway, last time I had a Grew It was 10 years ago, basically. So this is a 5.6% alcohol by volume beer. Grew It beers typically, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, they're not made with hops. They use other ingredients to bitter the beer.
Heather, holly, some other
bitters. And this one's made with sea buckthorn, which I've never heard of. Rosehip.
I'll say.
Hi, kids. I'm C. Buckthorn. You may remember me from such beers as I don't know.
C. Buckthorn, rose hips, bitter orange peel. Oh, this is made with hops. Okay, well,
it's not a Grew It then.
Well, that changes. I think legally they have to put hops in it. Maybe they just wrote that on the label so the government get off their back.
Yeah, they're Germany, right? So a lot of their beers they can't even call beer because Reinheitsgebot.
Yeah, true. Anyway,
let's call them like craft ales or something.
This says best before March 31st, 2017. So there you go.
Best before. Okay. Wow. Shit.
We're almost 4 years old here.
Come on, Shelton.
It's not Shelton's fault. It's
Come on, Dan Shelton. Calling you out, bro.
That's actually one of their names, Dan Shelton.
Yeah. Scott Shelton.
No, it's Dan, Joel, and Will for the record.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
I think I met Dan. Freaking Dan.
This smells weird. This smells like grapes. It smells what is that? It smells like grapes and cough syrup, kinda, I guess. It's a really intense, weird smell.
They put some funky herbs in Grew It because they're trying to get replacing what you would have gotten from hops. And so they can tend to have some weird stuff in there.
Yeah, I'm assuming the hops they added to this were very low. Just for technicality reasons.
Yeah. Some alpha acids to fight off bacteria.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, that could be why, because it is going to be bottled and put on shelves and stuff, so it might not be stable without hops.
They're like, this is going to America. We must put some hops in.
It's very unique on the nose. I've never smelled a beer that smells like this. It's very intense as well, but it's not like the cough syrup is. I think that's more like the heat coming off of it, even though it's only 6%. No, 5. Okay, maybe it's not alcohol. It's only 5.6. It's just like an underlying thing. Like you kind of get this cough syrup aroma, but it's really weird on the nose. It's very unique.
Well, hopefully it clears your nose. Get some decongestants happening.
It's actually really good. That's weird.
Huh.
It doesn't taste like, maybe a little bit like cough syrup. Maybe a little bit. Lemony. You get that earthiness, I think, from the rose hips. Rose hips for me come off really, really earthy and kind of fruit sweet a little bit. And you get this for sure. It's very light, very pale. It looks like an IPA, basically. This is really good. This is like the best of the bunch so far. I like this.
Yeah, my KO, I don't know if I'd buy it again. It is a little hot. It's a little thin. Yeah, it's real aqueous. Just sort of like it's a sweet beer with a lot of booze in it.
It just sounds like a drain pour. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, $5 for a 10% beer, like I said. If you want to get grandma fucked up on Thanksgiving, that's where you're going to give her.
It'll get you drunk.
I don't know if it comes in on the camera though. My bottle is, you might not be able to see it. For me, it looks like there's hair on the bottle.
Yeah, it's out of focus.
It doesn't really come through, but yeah,
computer's fighting to keep you in focus. So
it's so dusty. It looks like it has like a beard. It's really dusty.
It's beard.
So the one beer I got that was not dusty, that is from a brewery that does sell through regularly, is Dre Fontaine Oud Goose.
Nice.
And although this was bottled in 2017, I feel like it hasn't been sitting in the shelves there for 3 years. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure these come here and they've already been in the bottle for a little while. There's a best before date on this. Anybody want to take a guess as to what the best before date on this 2017 bottle is?
2022.
I'll say
December 2022.
It was bottled 2017.
Yeah.
2027.
2037.
Wow.
What?
October 26, 2037 is the best before date on this bottle.
Well,
So-
if it's Price is Right, I
shit.
win. So
That's
go.
right. Price is Right rules.
Dude, I just opened up I opened the spruiting vat. The spruiting vat is from De La Sin and De Garde. That's who I was thinking of. De Garde. De Garde is up there next to you can do the cheese tour up at that spot up there. It smells like cow shit throughout the entire region because there's a lot of cows.
You're talking about
Tillamook area where
Yeah.
De Garde is. And you can do the De Garde thing. But
This
I
is,
was going to go there,
light
but
colored beer.
I was going to go there, but Tillamook is 3 hours from Portland, and everyone's like, the cheese tour is not that great, and
No,
there's nothing else there.
We ate grilled cheese sandwiches, and then we did the tour. It took us like 15 minutes. We had ice cream, and then got the fuck out because it smelled like cow shit. But we were on our way up to Fort George, so it was on the way.
Yeah, if you're going up the coast, right? Because they're close to the coast, right? Ish.
Sort of, yeah. I believe so.
So according to
Close-ish.
the description on Untapped, this is De La Sin's first beer matured in a foeder, which is fun. It's a saison of mixed fermentation, fermented by their homemade yeast and a blend of Brettanomyces.
And it tastes exactly how that sounds. Very bright, very funky. You can tell it's got that sort of goozy, like almost seawater salinity to it. And there's no like cereal quality to it. It's just a very bright and effervescent beer on the nose, sort of lemony. Trying to think what else. It's been a while since I've sort of broken down beers like this, but you know what I mean? It's very goose. It smells like something that's been in a foeder for a long time with all the right bugs.
Very goozy is very apt because I'm totally drinking a Trey Fontaine Oud Goose right now, and it is phenomenal. Just a amazing fucking beer, and
As it should be, right?
yeah, you used all of the right descriptors, so I'm going to sound weird saying them all again, but yeah, just that light kind of citrusy, like the
Grapefruit
mineral
zest.
water, yeah, just but in a very light way. They use sourness in a very
Mhm.
sparing way. I would say the beer is tart, not sour, and
Same with this.
very refreshing. Just I poured the whole bottle in my glass because I'm like, I know I'm finishing this.
Oh hell yeah! I will
I
say
think-
that the oak character on this is very representative of like Barrelworks beers. You know how Barrelworks has this big French oak vanilla character on their beers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This has that same sort of vibe on the finish. Really delicious. I would say well worth $23 for this big old 750.
Yeah, that's some money right there.
Need about 750.
It's a delightful beer. Wow.
Well, I have moved on to a sour made by, again, I cannot say this name, Han
Solo.
Han Brigette. Brigette. Yeah, it's that beer. It's HAAND, and then the Brigette part is the brewery, so it's the Hond Brewery. Yeah, I feel like an idiot
The
right
Hond.
now. This is called Funky Black, so it's a black sour, and let's see details: 7% alcohol by volume, and yeah, it says made with yeast, water, and malted barley. This is from 2015. And I didn't look into what it was when I bought it. When I saw Funky Black, I kind of put two and two together and thought, well, it's probably a sour black beer. And that's what it is. So it's definitely very black. Well, very, very dark brown, I'd say. The head was very quick to dissipate. Oh, I can already smell it. Kind of an, I don't know, not white head, but you know, it's like a brownish white head. Looks good.
Online pronunciation guide I found says Handbryggerie. Handbryggerie.
Handbryggerie. Okay, that sounds right.
Arrivederci.
Mhm.
What's the other guy's name? That he keeps asking him to repeat his name. Shit. Oh God.
He's like correcting his pronunciation.
No, it's the last one. He doesn't know any Italian, and like all he knows is how to say his name properly.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
he says his name, and he goes again, and he says his name again. He goes okay, because he's already like gone through the first two. Like you guys are clearly not Italian. And he's like, okay, fine, you get a pass.
he like fucks with him a little bit. He's like, once more, yeah, no, with feeling, like really give it. And he's
Yeah.
like,
God,
Which-
I want to play that. I just watched that like 2 weeks ago too.
I was watching kind of a breakdown of that, and I never really caught that element of the scene where he's just kind of toying with him, where he's like, "No, come on, yeah, no, do the lie bigger. Come on, do it better. All right, oh yeah, good job, man, good job."
And the whole reason they were like pretending to be Italian is because a lot of Germans didn't know Italian. If you were referencing Inglourious Bastards, and like Germans aren't big on Italian, and so they went to this movie premiere at this theater where, spoilers, all the Germans die, and turns out the guy that's doing security, he knows like 6 different languages, and Italian's one of them. It's a really funny scene. It's great. That's such a good movie for multiple reasons.
Totally.
I used to really like Quentin Tarantino's movies, but then with that one, he just got too political.
Yeah, too political.
Like fucking chuds online will always be like, yeah, like that Nazi killing game. Like, I don't know why they need to be so political.
Yeah.
Like,
it's beyond politics, right?
So I checked all my date codes with a flashlight, and the only one that was out of spec was the Jambé de Bois. Everything else is within date code. So, and the Jambé is only like 3 or 4 months out, so it's not like super ancient or anything.
Okay.
So,
we get it. Your beer store's better than ours.
This is true.
It's also
Windsor homebrew
newer.
supply, everybody. Yeah.
Like give
true.
Windsor a few years, let those beers, let them roast on the shelf for a little bit.
Well, luckily, like most of these, there was only like 2 or 3 bottles left, so I feel like they're moving them out at such a rapid pace. And a lot of people that are homebrewing are like, yeah, I want to check out a real Belgian triple to drink while I'm making a beer. I think that's always what I did.
And I think a place like
thing.
Windsor compared to a grocery store like Gerard's, yeah, they have a person that works at Gerard's that knows beer. Like their job is to buy the beer and sell the beer, but they're a grocery store. They're not like a homebrew shop / beer shop. So I think you get more attention to detail when it comes to how the beers are aging on the shelf from the people that own the business. If you're working at a place like Windsor, because you don't want to sell shitty beer. And so you might crack a bottle open and go, you know what, this is past its prime. We're just going to take it off the shelf and eat the loss. Where a place like Gerard's, and it's nothing against Gerard's, like they're just, they're selling stuff and making money. They're not sampling the beers on the shelf to see if they're still good. It's on the shelf. If it gets bought, it gets bought. If not, it still sits on the shelf. If something new comes along, then it goes away. It doesn't matter.
And like some old dude who's like, I feel like having a beer tonight. And he's like, well, what looks fancy? There's this green bottle one. That looks cool.
Yeah.
And then he's going to go home, drink it. He'll be happy. He doesn't know that it's oxidized he might not. I'm generalizing, but I think there's some leeway for beer quality with the public.
I kind of know what you mean. Like when you see a European beer and it's got a weird label on it, you can't read the writing on the label because it's in a different language. You go, oh, this is different and exotic, and so you kind of prepare yourself for something that's different and not like an American lager. And you open it and go, oh yeah, maybe you'll like it. If it could be a bad beer that you like, or it could be a fresher beer that is a good beer that you like. But if you don't really drink a lot of beer, you can't really tell the difference. And so
yeah,
you're like, oh, this is what I expected, I guess, because I took a risk. This is what I got. Like this beer, Funky Black, like it's a sour black beer. If you saw Funky Black and you didn't know anything about beer, we would think maybe it's a darker beer. But beyond that, I don't know. Like, and then you open it and sour. It's like, that's weird. Should it taste like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I had a college professor, back in the 80s that was like, my favorite beer in the world is Pilsner Urquell. And back then, like Pilsner Urquell was maybe like a $12 six pack. It was not cheap. I mean, back in
Damn.
the 80s, like, dude, that was expensive. That's expensive fucking
Especially
beer.
in the 80s, like for, inflation.
no
And
joke.
so I bought it and tried it, and I was like, it's Pilsner. It's better than Bud, Miller, Coors. It's got some character to it. It was the real import from Belgium, not like made at, I don't know if they're made at like AB InBev or something these days, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to spend that much money on a Pilsner in the 80s.
Yeah.
But just because somebody they see the price tag and they're like, that must be fancy. It's my favorite beer in the world because of that price. I don't know.
Well, and we've talked about in various incarnations on the show, when you look at the big macro loggers, like they literally will just be like, oh, this is premium, so charge $2 more for the 12 pack. And now that's a premium beer. And people, like, in their heart of hearts, like PBR 10, 15 years ago was a budget beer, right? It was put on the shelf with High Life and and Natty Ice and all these brands that were cheap beer. And then they just like rebranded it and put the price up $2. And now everyone's like, but PBR is good. Where like those same people 15 years ago would have been like, PBR, yeah, I use that sweat swill in my toilet.
That's me.
Garbage.
I mean, I buy PBR. That's my my lager that I buy. It's cheap. A 12 pack is $11. I think it's good. I don't buy it to be like to get hipster cred or anything. I drink it because I like it and it's cheap. And
I had
when I first got into craft beer, 10 years ago, there's no way I'd buy PBR because I was hanging out with Dr. Bill, and you don't buy PBR. Like you buy a craft thing.
I mean more even as a macro beer person.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like
yeah.
It's crazy how much that they can say like, yeah, charge a little bit more money for it and say it's fancy, and people will be like, holy shit. Like Grey Goose vodka was pretty much created where they're like, okay, so Belvedere is the most expensive vodka on the market right now. Just make ours cost $10 more than that and say it's the fanciest one. And I have people who will swear by their fucking life that Grey Goose is the best vodka in the world, and it's literally
you
just
blind tasted them.
No.
Fuck, you can't tell the difference.
So it's crazy how well that kind of marketing works, where they're like, look, it's in a fancy container. We charge more for it, so it must be better liquid, right? It's like, maybe.
For sure. One thing I want to bring to the show, I think, going forward is like, before we wrap up the episode, is to just say, hey, what was your favorite beer of your flight, John?
Oh, I was about to say that. This beer is my favorite beer. Just because it's a beer, it's an actual beer, where the Gruit, I think, was interesting. It's technically a beer, but it's got some, it's, as far as the stuff they add to it to make it bitter and, whatnot to flavor it, it's over the top. I could not drink that entire bottle, but it was an interesting beer. But, this beer, Funky Black, it's what you would expect from a dark sour. It's got a bit of a roast character on the nose, and you get a little bit of the acidic character on the nose. But as far as the flavor goes, there's no roast to speak of at all. You get kind of like that dark malt vibe from the flavor, but it's definitely more acidic than I'd prefer for like a black sour beer. That said, though, it's really, really good. And this held up extremely well. I think, what did I say this was from? 2015. Yeah, this is easily the best of the bunch.
Time capsule. Wow.
And I'm not saying the others are bad. Like the collab with Cigar City and Joppin', that was really good. But, this.
What would you buy again? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, I would buy the Funky Black again. If I could buy the first one fresh, the single hop IPA with Galaxy, I might try that again, but that just, it failed the test of time. So
I had a 50-50. Two of these were undrinkable drain pours, and two of them were good.
Oh, yikes.
So we knew that Oud Goose was going to be good, but the Bière de Mars, being a 6-year-old shelf survivor, they've redesigned the label on this beer since, and it's just been sitting, and it is a great beer. Like, it is nice and tart, super drinkable, great flavor, like just a really good dark sour beer. Well, not dark, but a multi-year sour beer.
Yeah.
And yeah, just super surprisingly good. Again, I don't know how sour it was when it was fresh. But it developed a pleasant tartness over time. So if it was an accident, it was a real happy accident. It came out really good.
Jolly Pumpkin, they make wild ales. That's their whole deal. Like,
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying they make all sour beer. They make wild beer. And so if it develops some acidity over time, I would totally expect that. That's true. I think that's more of a feature than a flaw.
Yeah, and for me, definitely the spruiting vat from De La Sin and DeGard. I was expecting the DeGard to bring some tooth enamel stripping acidity to it, but it's if you gave this to me blind, I would say it's a Barrel Works beer, 5.5%, just right in that sweet spot of lambic or goose. It's very complex. It's got a nice French oak character to it. Perfect acidity. It's tart, not sour. It's perfect. It's a 5 out of 5 for me. All pretty good though.
So yeah, we're sad to see Shelton Brothers go. They had a good run. I mean, since '93, that's pretty awesome. And yeah, that's I don't, unless you guys want to say something else. I'm gonna miss them. I think I tend to think of Shelton Brothers as like a prestige kind of company, you know, as far like you can trust their beers. They're going to pick quality beers, and I hope whoever takes over for them, whether it be one company or, you know, these breweries go to other companies to import their beers to the States, they pick a company that just isn't looking at dollars and cents, and they're looking at quality and craftsmanship. And it's a tough, I don't know, that's a tough sea to navigate because, you know, you're dealing with all this local awesome craft beer all over the United States. But yeah, it's something that we have to still get these imports somehow. And I'd be sad if I didn't see them anymore on shelves in the States.
Cantillon, all the Trappist breweries, stuff like that, they'll be definitely missed if we can't get them in the States. I don't know about some of the other weird off brands and Gruits and stuff like that. Like, you guys just travel to those countries yourself and try them fresh at the source.
Yeah, I think I did hear some anecdotes from industry people about how Shelton as a distributor was not the best to work with. They're like, well, no skin off my ass. Like, someone else will pick up those beers, and their rep was a real pain in my ass. I heard from a couple different people, something in that zone. They're like, we buy a ton of beer from them, and they're still kind of shitty to deal with. So maybe they had other problems besides just COVID and Mikkeller being like, and then I decided to bankrupt my distributor, and I was the best ever at it.
I love from that one talk that Mikkel did at the California Craft Beer Summit. We've gotten so much
unforgettable.
Yeah, so much content from Jason from that one thing.
God.
It was one of the douchiest things I've ever seen a person do. Just sit there on a stage and be like, I decided I would make chocolate, and I hooked up with a chocolate maker, and our chocolate is the best chocolate in the world. And it's just like,
I'm talking to you on this microphone, and it was inferior, so I started a microphone company, and now I'm talking to you on my high fidelity microphone.
The best, and everything was always like, I did it, and now it's the best. I didn't even know if I was any good, and then I did it, and then everyone said, wow, you're the best at everything. And it's like, wow, that must be really nice for you.
I'm the best.
All right, I think we'll end it there.
Oh God, that was fun.
So you guys can stop recording.
Save project.
Oh, the audacity.
I will be right back.
Greg, have you tried that fucking Ghost game?
No, I saw somebody streaming it. I haven't tried it yet.
I heard you can yell at
$14.
I heard you can yell at the ghosts and antagonize them.
Huh. I do that in my house all the time.
Like if you swear, like they'll get like rowdy and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, I'll check it out if you're down.
I bought it and I haven't played it yet, but I heard it's co-op. I didn't realize. I thought it was a solo thing.
I think
for
it's
some reason
co-op.
Yeah, for some reason in my head, co-op VR doesn't click, but I was like, oh, I don't see why not, I guess. But in my head, I'd be like, oh, it's VR, it can't be co-op. What is that?
Picked off my, it's like a red pepper.
Oh, okay.
The same kind that you like, you put on your pizza.
All right.
A whole bush of them out there now. They're like perfect ripe, dried on the vine. I'm going to chop them up and make my own little pizza topping.
Dude, I made calzones on Monday and I put like half a teaspoon of roasted red pepper flakes in there. And
shredding you.
And the kid was like, oh my God, it's so spicy. I'm like, there's so little. It was half a teaspoon in the whole batch for 4 people.
Dude.
And it was like little spice grenades though. It was like you didn't have spice all the way through. You would like have a couple bites
just
without
some.
And then you would get like a little spice grenade. Yeah.
Nice. Forby, lift me up where you belong.
Where the eagles fly.
Where?
Thanks for hanging out, 11 people.
Do. Sprouting vat.
Did you say sprinting vat?
Sprouting vat.
Why is it so sprouting? The portrait mode thing on yours is like looks really solid, and then it's got a couple weird elements like the back of your mic is blurry.
Oh, really?
And it feels like it should be in focus because you can tell it's close, but
yeah,
the algorithm is like, yeah, see, now it's in focus. It's like, oh, it's part of him now.
Stupid machine learning. Background blur. I'll put it up all the way.
Now it's totally don't worry. Now that algorithm will drive your car. Just trust your life to it.
There we go.
Yeah, your microphone is really fucking with it. It's like the stand is there, but I don't know. It's like Back to the Future. It does look like Jesus is reaching out to like choke you.
It's like, I didn't know you played Hockey Jesus. And he's like, anything's possible when you're Jesus, LOL.
First of all, through Christ, I can do anything. So write that down.
I'm the greatest hockey player.
I invented hockey, and then I was the greatest hockey player in the world.
I invented my own sticks.
I made up hockey sticks. John does not like me making fun of Mikkeler.
Because he's a runner.
That's right.
You can't make fun of running, dude.
I'm not making fun of running. I make fun of him being like, I invented a running club and it became the best running club in the world. Just like, God damn it, man.
We started running.
I mean, it's a pretty big running club.
It's the best running club in the world.
In the world.
Looks like Kyle wants to jump in.
Oh, shit. Do it. Greg is brunch now. It's brunch, Greg.
No, this is Sizzler's Malibu chicken.
Huh. How's that?
I don't know. It's something I used to eat when I was a kid.
No.
It was it's Swiss cheese ham on a piece of fried chicken.
That sounds amazing.
It's so like banquet frozen meals.
I mean, I guess you're getting a whole fucking barnyard in that one.
Food pairings.
Pairing a cow with a pig and a chicken. It's got it all.
It's got its place in the world of food. And the eagles fly.
I will say this little mini fridge is not well equipped to handle
750s.
big 750s. Yeah, it's just like, okay, this is gonna take the place. I got to take 8 beers out of here to fit this 750 because it's gonna use up all of my usable space.
Mr. Snuts said that they blind tasted vodka with Grey Goose, Tito, and Smirnoff, and Tito's won.
But as I clarified, by blind he means they drank till they were blind.
Right.
No, he's right though. Tito's is probably better than the other ones. I had a friend who is like the Grey Goose nerd that I know, and I set up a blind tasting. I bought a bunch of little mini vodkas, and she did the whole thing trying to pick which one was Grey Goose and then declaring that the best one. And I'm like, well, it isn't to say that you can't distinguish it. It's to say which one is better. And yeah, she just cheated.
I mean, most vodka is made out of crappy ingredients. I mean, like Blinking Owl Distillery in Santa Ana here, they use all California grown organic grains, and I think their product, you can definitely tell it has a bigger character. Like vodka shouldn't taste like much. It should be like, Miller Lite of like beer,
Right.
It shouldn't have character to it. But theirs has a definite mouthfeel and a structure that you can tell it's got made with really quality grains.
I haven't heard of that place. Are they any good?
Really good, yeah.
I
got
see
a bunch
they
of
make
stuff behind me.
They make an aquavit and shit. I can get that.
Aquavit is really good. If you're gonna buy
I would
one
buy that.
bottle, I'd buy the Aquavit.
I think Kyle's getting killed by the Blair Witch.
Where'd he go? I lifted Kyle where
Yeah,
you
the thing didn't see any
belong.
of that, but we're watching it in our little preview window, and we're just like, what is happening?
Camera's getting all rocked around.
So he's loudering.
Yeah, so he's loud. Yeah,
He's on mute.
I don't.
so
I can't. I
hear
can't hear him at all. So I don't know.
I
if it's
muted
louder.
it, so-
I don't know if it's
Muted.
louder or not.
there we go.
Get it louder.
Louder. Thank you, somebody, for acknowledging my shitty fucking joke.
Vorloff.
Oh, I get it.
Vorloff is the best homebrew term. Not homebrew, but brewing term.
Do you
What
want
So
about
I
Krausen?
maybe I should have said this on the show, but like I got no enjoyment drinking any of those beers. Like not like I get from drinking like good, just like a good IPA. You know what I mean? Or like a lager or a pilsner. I don't know. The black saison or the sour black beer was good, but beyond that, like I just don't care. I mean,
And you pick some weird ones too, like old
Yeah, those are really
IPA and
Off the wall.
the IPA, we'll
Gruit.
put that one aside, but like the Gruit and I don't know. It reminds me of drinking those beers when I first got into beer and being like, okay, yeah, I get it. This tastes interesting, but I'm not enjoying it. You know what I mean? I don't know. It sounds weird, but
It's not your favorite beer style. Like this De La Seine one is. This is my favorite beer style. This is absolutely 100% something that I would drink every day of my life if I could afford it.
I mean, I couldn't find any saison,
Brewers Saison.
and that was disappointing. But I guess if I had a saison in the mix, that would have been my number one pick for the
Oh,
best beer,
God,
just
it's so
because
good.
saison is so good. But
I'm
beyond
relishing
that, I'm just like, it felt like more of a.
what if
I don't
the
know.
saison tasted like ash?
Well, then that's not good. Yeah,
Phantom.
Ash is saison.
I did go out of my way to not get Phantom because it's just.
They were on the shelf. I avoided them too. I was like, I don't want to gamble. They were a lot of money.
Mhm.
This one was only 15, so I was like, well, at least it's not $25 I'm gonna waste.
How's that
And
rice lager going?
Kyle?
Maybe 2 gallons to go to collect, and I can start boiling. It smells like almost nothing. It's actually only 25% flaked rice.
What's your IBU shooting range?
Like 15.
15, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
So
doing
that's
an
the,
hour boil or something shorter?
Yeah, I'm doing an hour. Yeah, I
Using
haven't had
Pilsner
any.
malt for the other base malt?
No, I went 2 row and then the rice to lighten it up. I was afraid Pilsner and rice might just be too light.
But
I
that'd
mean,
be
see how light
awesome.
you get it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, how much more light could it be? And the answer
Well,
is
dude, I was
none more light.
more light. I bought those. Miller makes these beers called 64. It's like 2.6% alcohol.
I saw
And
that.
yeah, they taste
try
like
that.
Miller High Life. They taste like a High Life seltzer
Huh.
in the best way possible. They're so good.
Huh.
The problem is
High life.
yeah, it's a watered
like
down
High Life.
High Life, but it
Yeah.
costs more.
Just get
No,
some
I got a
salted
30
water.
pack. It was like $20.
They're generally $1 or $2 more to a comparably priced pack of the other ones.
Gotcha.
As the macro beer expert, I will tell you. I tell you.
They were on sale though, so I bought them. I think it was 18 or something. I'd buy it again. Cams.
Good.
I opened up a El Segundo, The Power of Flight, which this is the most basic El Segundo label I think I've ever seen.
Oh, nice.
What power, you ask? How about the
Oh,
power
yeah.
of flight?
On there.
That do anything for you? Levitation, John.
That's an
See.
LAX joke.
It's made with El Dorado and Amarillo.
El Dorado.
Sounds like Kyle's peeing gently.
Oh yeah.
He's got a narrow urethra, so it's a
As
slow
my
flow
penis
of,
gently pees.
Yeah. Well, I am
as
making. I'm making
if you
piss
ta-
beer.
if you change it to cock, John, then you fit the meter.
Okay, sorry.
Dude, I just
There you
learned on
go.
this microphone I can control my speaker volume.
Yeah, and
Huh.
your headphones?
That is crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a dope microphone, man.
it's crazy.
If like I had to buy all new microphones for the studio, I would buy those.
Yeah, it's such a high quality piece of equipment.
They're dope.
It's literally I had to make no adjustments. It's like just good.
Yeah.
It feels nice.
I think my
Tip.
my new gaming console just arrived.
What'd you get? Xbox?
Well, I have to go see. It's a surprise.
It's like, I don't know.
Did he?
I would-
He's like, I bought all of them, and we'll see which one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's coming today.
I was drunk and on Amazon, so it's a surprise every day.
I read that you're not supposed to blast fat vape clouds into Xbox.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently,
And I guess
Movie?
the ping pong ball is fake, apparently.
oh really?
Yeah. I heard it was
Man,
fake, but I don't know.
we
I don't
can't-
have the Xbox.
I can't imagine it's putting out that much wind. Like, I've seen cooling fans in a lot of shit, and it's just not going to be a constant flow like that.
You would hear it. Yeah, maybe next year I'll buy a 3080 card.
Yeah,
Unless
same.
Out to 3090. I don't know if they're going to do the 3090.
I'm thinking about getting a 3070. I have a I have a 1060 right now. So
Yeah, maybe they'll just call it, instead of doing a 3090, maybe they'll just say, oh, it's a 3080 Super.
It's not here. False alarm.
man, fucking bullshit. 3080s are what? Like a G? Apparently, all of them are out of stock everywhere. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
guess,
not
I mean,
buying any of those until next year.
I
Probably.
think the initial release was just a small production.
it's a, as they would call, a paper launch. They're like, well, it's out. We made enough of them. Some guys, Jeff's benchmark fucking corner has 10 of them, but no customers have them.
I'll share my screen.
I'm watching Greg on there.
You gotta stay wet.
Who are you?
I'm a vape god. 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 Gotta stay wet.
We just got a strike. We're gonna get a strike for that. What?
No, that's funny.
Oh man.
I'm a vape god.
I know you explained what the food is, and it's not this, but in my head, you just have a Moons Over My Hammy sitting in your background.
That's what it looks like.
It's actually cake. Everything is cake.
You know, I'm a fat guy. Not a cake fan, though, really. Cakes aren't so good. But I love cooking shows, and I did watch a show the other day where they talk about how professional bakers use boxed cake mix. Because there's like legitimate reasons that you can't really home make the effect you get out of boxed cake mix.
Huh.
Here's
So, yeah.
here's how to make Malibu chicken from a like one of those spam YouTube channels that does like voiceover audio from a bot.
All right. Did you share audio?
Oh, it's just like
God,
a fake
that
audio
was
voice.
terrible.
Ham.
What's on his
Moons Over
desktop?
Miami.
Quick, find the pornography.
I don't think there is any now.
That is
Yeah,
a
but-
messy desktop. Oh,
That's my second screen, so I don't really care.
Literally just a piece of fried chicken with a piece of ham, and then it's like a sandwich, kind of.
It's like a poor man's cordon bleu.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
it's the same effect, different construction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just like it's Sizzler.
Steak, seafood, salad.
I remember
have a lot
going
of
to
time.
Sizzler. I went to Sizzler like a couple of years ago, and it was actually not that bad, but it was also not as cheap as I remember it being. I remember it
Yeah,
being like,
it's-
you're getting a steak way cheaper here than anywhere else. And then the last time I went, I was like, it's same price as getting a steak at any like fast casual place.
Yeah, the all you can eat salad bar is where it's at.
I think I've only been to Sizzler once as an adult, and it was with Yvonne. And was it Yvonne? Maybe it was Kelly. I can't remember. But we were just like, we're never coming here again. Like, it
Yeah, why
had
would
so
you?
much like nostalgia for me as a kid. But going back as an adult, you're like, this is horrible. Like this
So
is
bad.
not good.
Well, it's weird, right? Because you order up front, like kind of cafeteria style, but then you have a server, kind of, but like not really.
Yeah.
They're not like really attentive. And yeah, I don't know. It's a weird place.
I remember as a kid too, I felt so anxious walking into Sizzler because like you're kind of on the spot. You have to look at the menu because it's on the wall, and like pick what you want. And you're like, do I want to like commit to that or just get the all you can eat thing? I don't know. Fuck it. All you can eat salad bar. I don't care. And then like you go to the salad bar, you make a shitty burrito. Your salad is garbanzo beans and peas, like, because you don't want to eat a real salad with like good vegetables and stuff on it. And you just like, and like chips and cheese, basically.
Dude, when I was in college, we'd go with four dudes. I get all four dudes all you can eat. And then each of us had assigned roles. Like I was on nacho duty. So I would just go and get like the best nacho plate you can imagine. Somebody else would be the all you can eat shrimp guy. Somebody else would
Oh
be
yeah,
like
they had shrimp,
put some
right?
meat. And somebody else would get like whatever like the special stuff is. And then like if you just ran out of whatever, like we'd just share whatever's on the table. And if that was out, it was like, oh, nachos are out. Let me go get some more nachos. And like we just pick at it until we're done. It was great.
That sounds
story, bro.
fun. Like, but when you're just one kid with your family getting the salad bar or whatever all you can eat food bar, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, and
This
Stew
is-
Plantation used to do that, but they just went out of business too.
Well, in general, like buffets are like, well, we don't think we're going to be able to ever reopen after COVID. So,
Actually, while Greg was saying that, I'm in my head. I'm going, like maybe we shouldn't be doing that. And yeah, it's so weird how this one year has affected the way I think about like interacting with people so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Golden Coral, I already had health concerns, or like
Corral?
Hometown Buffet. Yeah, Golden Corral, I guess. Whatever. Yeah. That'd be cool if it's Coral though. Golden Coral. Yeah, Golden Corral. Like, I don't know. It's too busy. And same with Hometown Buffet. I went there one time, and it was like the kind of place where people are like, "All right, I gotta spend $12 this once, but you better get all the food you can get." And they're just like, it's super hood in there.
My
Where they're
first
like,
job
if I'm gonna
was,
splurge $12 for dinner, you're gonna eat fucking 3 days worth, son.
my first job was dishwasher at Hometown Buffet.
How was
And,
that?
it was fine. The one I worked at was off of Sierra and oh god, what's the street just after the 10? Slover?
Yeah.
Remember
yeah.
where IKEA was when IKEA was in Fontana for like
Yeah.
3 years?
Mhm.
Where the
It's-
Target is, yeah.
Yeah, in there. And it was fine. But one day I showed up to work and it was closed. And that's how I knew I didn't have a job anymore.
Huh.
They didn't tell me not to come in. It was just like I got there and it was closed. So, but yeah, free food. It was nice for 16-year-old John.
Well, Rick
Are there-
Morella is asking me if I've ever made sake. He's got 50 pounds of rice. Sounds like he wants to get rid of.
I have. It's hard.
Did
Yeah.
you say Rick Murtaugh?
No, Morella. Yeah, the only thing I know about how hard it is to make sake is from Greg talking about it.
It's a
Yeah,
bitch, dude.
Don't you have to like feed it every week for
Yeah,
like
it's-
months on end? And
It's a brew day every day for 2 weeks straight.
sounds like a real pain in the dick.
Why can't I
But it
just
was
mash
good
rice and then ferment it?
because
Guess I'm-
it has to build.
Right?
I believe we talked about this on one of our earlier episodes, actually, where Greg explained everything.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
have to
bitch.
find it, but yeah,
I mean, there might be better ways to do it, but even from talking to the dude at Setting Sun Sake down in San Diego, he was like, "That's how I do it. That's how it's done."
In an episode from 2014 titled Kamikaze Gangbang.
yes.
Fourth show?
It is our 5th show. Period.
Really?
Like, yes, episode 5. 5th
Well,
show,
what-
5th show.
Well, I wonder if sake is one of those things where homebrews don't really do it. So, like, people haven't really figured out, like, oh, you don't actually have to do it this old school way. There's another way to do it.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. I'm sure
It's
there's
just
a
not
quicker
popular
way.
enough for people to just kind of figure it out and talk about it.
I'm just picturing the Homer Simpson like smashing an orange on his forehead. Like, you mean there's a better way?
Yeah.
So if you go to homebrewsake.com, that's where I bought a kit from, and it's
Yeah,
still
that's
up,
right.
and
Yeah.
it has all the same ingredients. The
We also-
instructions are written in really bad English, so
We
it's really hard to
also-
understand.
On that episode, sampled Greg cider named Cummins Cider.
Oh God.
I thought it was Olipin.
No,
No,
that
it's-
was my name.
It's Cummins, Cummin apostrophe
Cummins.
S.
Cummins
like-
Oh,
cider.
Greg.
Cummins is a person, or
That Greg
no,
is
Cummins
hilarious.
is a person, so it's Cummins cider.
oh, Greg, never change.
I don't think 2020 Greg would name a cider that.
No, I'd be over it.
He'd be pulling out in 2020.
I'd make it a little more obscure.
Oh, Christ.
Oh man, my Facebook memories and shit pop up all the time, and like some of the stuff I used to say in like 2012 or 2000 is hilarious.
Yeah, Facebook
Um,
memories exist, I feel, primarily to humiliate me.
Exactly.
Hey, you
I-
dumb fuck. Here's you from 10 years ago. And I'm like, oh no.
I
Oh,
use
no.
an automatic Twitter post deleter, and it basically deletes. I only have like a month's worth of tweets up now on Twitter, and every month, like, they get deleted. And some of the shit I tweeted back in the day, I downloaded an archive before I enabled this service, and I was just like, Jesus fucking Christ, this is awful.
Dang.
What was I thinking?
Also, a lot of my early social era, like early for these, so like late 2000s, like 2010 era posts, like I just posted whatever the fuck I was thinking. Like at any given time, I'd be like, kind of cold today. like,
All right.
like who the fuck is this for?
I had a podcast I did, a video podcast where I would tweet every day, right? And then I would record on video like details about the tweet and what like stories behind the tweets. And like some people liked it, but like I'm so glad it's gone from the internet, or I think it's gone anyway. It still might be kicking around YouTube somewhere. But I would just sit in front of I bought my first iMac, like a 2006 iMac, a white 17-inch iMac. And I would just sit in front of that computer, record, and talk about it. A lot of it was work stuff because work sucked back then, like drama I was dealing with. But yeah, I would just explain my tweets every day. And now it's like, could you imagine having to explain your tweets every day? Like, this is what I meant. Like, no, there's no backstory. Like, it's just diarrhea on Twitter. Like, that's what Twitter has turned into. Just like your brain just splattering all over the place.
Kind of feel like we need that now, but I just assume I'm like, I don't know, John must be responding to something he saw on the TV or something. I don't know.
He's like, fuck.
It'd be like, man, I hated that. And I'm like, wait, hated what? Like, what's happening? All right.
I think
it was on the TV, I bet.
Like everyone's on Twitter. Like, and so, if you look at the date a tweet is stamped, you can kind of put that in context, like what was happening. And, oh, he probably meant that kind of thing. But yeah, no, I would never do that again, especially for Twitter. Like, because I'm so angry on Twitter with everything that's happening right now.
12 years ago on Facebook, November 14th, 2008, I said, I would be Richard Cramswell if I was in porn.
What?
Richard Cramswell.
That's a pretty good name, actually.
I get it. That's clever, Greg. I like it.
And then the comments was, is that a South Park reference? Like, no, I just ran into somebody with that name and I thought that'd be a cool porn name. Richard Cramswell. That's pretty good.
I guess
This is the clearest wart ever made.
Rice, baby.
On this day in 2008, I posted on Facebook, I left my phone at home today. I feel naked. Also, I'm not ignoring you. To nobody.
Okay.
To nobody.
Nobody liked it. No likes.
I mean, I don't like it. I wrote it. I don't like it. Oh,
all
man.
right, let's see. I'm looking at mine.
I had another one that says, when life gives you lemons, drink Hefeweizen. That was 2009.
I'm always like, can I get a Hefeweizen with no fruit in it, please?
There's another one that says, I think I stubbed my throat.
That's pretty good.
4 years ago today. So the band Lit is now a country band. What a weird week.
I didn't care about them the first time.
Wow. I had another one where I posted a picture of one of my friends' wallpaper in his house. You could see the shared screen. In their poolside bathroom. Is what I would see every time I peed at their house.
Oh, all right. Couple sailors.
Two nautically inclined youths.
Creepy. Like, and
ever.
staring at you while you pee. Just two nautically inclined youth.
Hand on the wall, peeing drunk. You know what I mean? Am I the only guy that pees with his hand on the wall when he's drunk?
Oh, yeah. That's the thing.
You're like,
that's how you can tell you're like at a certain level where you're just like,
and then you have to like clear, like, got to spit in the can.
Wasn't that like an Austin Powers bit where he's peeing at a urinal and it keeps going, and then he has to lean against the wall because it's taking so long.
I think you might be right.
Do you think Trump is going to pardon a turkey this year?
I think so. Yeah.
Has he done it before? I guess he did last year.
Yeah, 2017 is the one I'm looking at. It's comedy.
Apparently, there was 2 turkeys that he was supposed to pardon in 2019, butter and bread, and he pardoned butter but forgot bread. So bread's dead now. R.I.P. I wonder how they pick the pardoned turkey. Like they just have a farmer. They're like, "Send me your finest turkey."
I think that's
The
it.
biggest ass turkey.
Because it's always like a big, beautiful turkey, not like a run-down street turkey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you seen Vic Berger videos on YouTube? He
Sounds
makes fun
familiar.
of Trump and shit. Here, hit my screen share again.
Stop it. Well, thank you all for being here and welcome to the White House. Very special place. A very happy and blessed place. And I hear that beautiful turkey. We are here today to continue a wonderful.
Poor Baron.
I feel bad for that fucking kid. He didn't choose this.
He looks so sad.
Drumstick
Wouldn't you be?
Yep.
and wish.
Like, imagine how much your average teenager is embarrassed by their parents.
And wish
And then imagine these are your parents.
Yep.
we would just get around to the part. They say, enough talk, please pardon us. Many of you are always, and you know your loved ones, and you're far away.
All right, it's too much Trump. It's too much.
We're gonna get
These videos are so
demonetized.
good. Check out Vic Berger on YouTube.
He's gonna drone strike my fucking house, I'm pretty sure.
All right, I'm gonna kick up the heat and it's gonna get noisy, so I'm gonna sign off.
Yep.
All right, Kyle. Later, man.
See ya.
Later, Kyle.
All right, gang. I'm gonna wrap it up. Do my thing.
Yep.
Yep. I spread my thing on the spread my love on the Google Drive.
Till the next episode.
Yeah. Any ideas for next week? So I'm not like, picking random
We
shit.
have those. You
Oh, yeah, I'm
guys
out.
work on Saturday, right?
Yep. Yep. I might be home in time, but I don't think I will.
We were gonna do those other half beers. We all ordered the Tavor set.
All right. No worries.
We have two of each, so we could conceivably get you.
I can't
a
guarantee
set
I'll be
of
here
them.
though.
Yeah.
I might
So-
have to work a full day.
Well, I think also he didn't want to drink hazies because they're so yeast heavy. So
Yep. The yeast load. But they sounded interesting. I think the other half is doing some interesting things with how they're dry hopping.
well, Greg, if you wanted to do it, we could do it on Sunday. And
Don't worry
we'd get
about
beer
it.
to you.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. I'll sit out one.
I am always open to do the show on Sunday, and in fact prefer to do the show on Sunday. So
Yeah, I'm open either day. Yeah, I'm fine with Sunday.
I don't mind switching off. I would not go to Sunday exclusively, but we can switch off here and there.
I mean, if it is Sunday, I could do the show.
but
Or
you
just
don't
keep
want to
the
drink the
beers.
beers. So,
I mean, I'm just gonna sip them and then dump. So I don't
So
know.
do you wanna
It's
do
up
it or
you
not?
guys. Yeah, just skip. Just skip.
okay,
it.
that's fine.
But the thing is that poses an interesting question of anytime you're doing a hazy's based show, like I'm probably not going to do it.
I think you should start a new video series called Sippin' and Dumpin'.
Sip and dump. The
Sip
old
and
sip and
Dump
dump.
with Greg Nagel.
It's like
You know,
tippy
I'm
dump.
gonna give this one the old sip and dump. Sip, 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 dump, dump, dump.
Bloop, 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 bloop. But yeah, my uric acid levels are really good. So I'm like 3.8 this morning, which is like the bottom of the barrel low.
What's high?
So above 7.
Okay, nice.
5 is normal. Yeah, I had a good week of eating really good. I didn't have any beer all week, so that definitely helps.
All right.
Sweet, man.
So next week, like Greg said, we're doing other half beers. If you want to tune in and hang out, you can do
I was
that.
going to look at Alvarado Street and see if we can order anything from them online.
They're not shipping. I
Not
grabbed
anymore?
some. Apparently not. I feel like they were doing them like intermittently. It would be like certain releases they would ship, but they didn't have like a web store. You were out when we did North Park, and I'm always down to do them again because their beer is dope.
Yeah, there's a lot of San Diego breweries that are canning now, like Society. There's Epig.
I actually grabbed a
brewery.
can of Eris from El Cerrito today because it sounds like my last name if a Cockney British person said it.
Jason Aris.
Jason Eris.
That sounds metal.
Sound like you're from London.
Well, we'll figure something out for the following weekend. I'm down to do North Park again. Maybe some non-hoppy stuff from them. That'd be cool.
No, I can do West Coast. Hop foo.
That's all I will drink. West Coast IPA.
Hop.
I'm just gonna maneuver into another show where I just drink West Coast IPA.
Jason Aris drinks West Coast IPAs.
Eris. All right, gang. I'm out. Cheese, bro.
All right. Later, guys.